Cheers, everybody. Hello. Welcome back to Primitier. Where, there are still things to do. I know you're used to that, but I just say it quickly. I don't have that much time today, so if you can warn me once we hit the 30 minutes, that would be fine. But you can't? All I have to do myself. Okay, first off, there is one thing to do, which we can immediately go into. So maybe, just maybe, this will be a more productive episode. Who knows? Will be quite the difference to the previous ones. Ooh, it's a big piece. We have the back wall to do. We have to move very slowly with that many sticks. Okay, maybe I turn in real life. Turning with this is dangerous. Even moving with this is dangerous. Yep, I'm gonna move in real life. I'm not trusting this. Oops. Come. Oh, it's at the top. Come. Okay. Let's just immediately build this into. And I need to find the middle of my room again. Okay. Ay. Oh my god. In what times do we live? I just... Why is my voice so raspy? Maybe because it's a little bit early. I also can't go immediately into cut. Do we still work without... Oh! Why was this off? What did I do last episode? Now it's working. Okay. I tell you. Currently... Oh, this is for the diaries. This series is kind of a diary as well, so... I don't have to talk about it, but it will be fun looking back on it, like 2024 even. Because not my favorite, but a very exciting drama is going on right now, which I just don't want to ignore, especially because, well, I don't have any confirmation, I haven't checked. This game is in Unity, right? You know what? After the game, that's the first thing I check. Well, the first thing I do is try to throw this into the cutting program, but after that, while it's rendering. Because, oh my god, Unity is trying to get itself off from the market right now. I don't want to say anything specific because honestly, it could have changed overnight. I haven't seen anything new from today that is not from yesterday. But apparently they want to price for every install of games. And oh my god, everyone, even you iPad. If you like anything of video games, and I mean you are here, you're watching things about video games, everyone has at least one Unity game they like, because it's such an easy engine. I've worked with Unity quite a lot. It was one of my biggest hobbies quite some time ago. And even nowadays, the avatar work for VR chat, with streaming I could go into Unity as well to improve my model and have talkable stuff like clothes, accessories, and all of those shenanigans. So a lot of people are using Unity. It's only one aspect of Unity, so I think it's when programs made by Unity reach a certain threshold of installation. Downloads, I don't Was it downloads? I think it was downloads. Which is very bad for... Oh no, I just realized it's very bad for hobby applications, because it's not about, at least from what I've seen, apparently it's not about the what you earn from it. It's really just about the installations. So things like VR chat help or VTube support. Ooh, that won't turn out well for them. Like I said, okay. Rule number 1 here, I mention topics. I like to look into stuff and sometimes even into drama. But that's a very, very important rule. I am a random person on the internet, and so is basically every other YouTuber or streamer who is not specifically researching the topic. So you get the general gist here. But if you want to know more, complain, or get into the subject, don't take what I say as 100% of the information. Please. I bet most of you I don't have to tell, because we're intelligent people here. But I just want to spill it out just in case we run along that one person who needs to hear it. And yeah, we are wholesome around here. We don't like the bad feeling and stuff. But first, like I said, it's kind of important, because now I really have to look into what programs in Unity I use, and not just games. Oh my god, I have some really I like some really sweet Unity games, and it would be such a shame if they went missing, because apparently the games will cost the developer money. They don't make enough out of it. The current aspects from Unity fans, developers and such are things like, what about pirated games? If the program just universally checks for installations and doesn't care if the product is received legitimately or not, that's a negative for any developer. They won't get anything out of that. Quite the opposite. They have to pay for money they never received. The first people are taking actions currently. Yesterday I saw that oh god, what was his name? Oh, I'm such an ungrateful bastard. I'm so bad. The creator of Crap Game and Mark, if nothing changes, and I bet that another aspect. I know I'm jumping topics, but I think that is important to state. This is not for panic reasons. Quite the contrary, because I bet there will be a change. That the current announcement will be outdated. Could be even today. I mean, I didn't have the time to look it up today, so I could just ramble about sweet nothings. This is more for a diary aspect of, if it didn't already happen, it will be really fun to look back on it. Either they push through and this actually comes next January, which might be very horrifying and scary, to be honest, but it's more likely that at some point they step back at their decision a little bit. What direction? Do they completely turn around and say, okay, it was a bad idea? Or will they find the middle ground with developers? I don't know what that would look like, but it's so interesting. And it does affect us. So, my wish would really be to look back someday on this episode, hear myself talk about the Unity thing and be like, oh, that was a thing that never came to be. I forgot about that. Isn't that what we all would wish? Okay. And the other one I saw, what I really like currently is VRoid, the program I use for my VTubing stuff. They make my weekends so sweet because I am able to VTube thanks to them and have my little T move around and actually have a moving mouth, unlike in Primitier. They won't change things for now. Kinda wait it out like I do, but they do look left and right for a plan B, which is the best decision, I think. Because, I mean, like I said, I love to use that program, and if it just vanishes without a second idea of what I could do, what I could use instead, I would have to rethink and use one of the other big programs on the market, which in itself is not a problem, but you know how it is. When you use one thing for long enough, and then you have to switch it around to something else, you could, but... Do we have to take the lamp with us? I could as well. I mean, I'm not indoors, so it wouldn't be a problem. And we have some light. Now it's a horror game. Welcome to Slenderman. Oh my god, that was a thing once. I mean, it's still quite of a thing. I don't think the internet will forget about Slenderman anytime soon, but... Oh my god, that was a hype once. So yeah. That's the general gist though. I like to look at some drama. I don't always want to mention it, but if it gets interesting enough, I just want to keep it for the diary aspect. I don't want any reaction. If you want to look into this is more on you. Treat this more like a general information that there is something, but don't take my word for everything, okay? I just want to clearly say that. Okay. I remember. That's why I'm thinking, like, this is one of those things where I run it through my head, like, should I talk about this? Should I not? But it's funny. Back in school, like sweet early school, where we had fixed schedules and everything was so much easier than I realized at that time. Oh my. We had well, there were so many presentations in school time. Do you like presentations? I certainly hated them at the start, and at the end of school time, I really liked them because I started to get a little bit more out of myself, like more confident and stuff in how I present. And well, a little bit less lazy, and therefore I was actually able to research all the informations and stuff. And one of the times I got a really funny idea, like on some occasions on stuff when it's not news time or something, you can see, how would you translate it to English? A warning like all information may or may not apply. It's kind of like what I told you, like I have the general gist. It could be different at the moment. I could have mistaken some information, something like this, okay? A clear warning. The difference is, in my job right now is just, well, like I said, I want to do it for the diary aspect. It's not to completely inform you guys. I'm not your source of information on the topic, but well, with a school presentation, your job kind of is to provide the information. So, saying this, or rather a variation, which I can't translate word for word, was not the best idea. All information may or may not apply. Teachers like, well, the information should apply. You were supposed to research this, you know? And don't get me wrong, the presentation itself was tight. There was, well, I don't think there was any mistake. I got most of the information. I think it was on, was it the presentation on an art sculpture? Or was it another one? Ooh, oh, my memory about the later presentations are a little bit foggy because they ended up being kind of the same as I really found my process of dealing with them. I can't tell you which it was precisely. Oh, just to mention, not a single miscut. Hell yeah, we're getting better. But yeah, the presentation itself was fine. I was just not supposed to say that at the end. Oh, the silly things I did back in school. Studying was a whole other beast. But I guess at that point in time, I was supposed to already be a completely adult, so I wasn't really allowed the silly little mistakes anymore. Mistakes that didn't really hurt anyone per se, but are just fun to look back to. Oh my god. Yeah, slow movements. We have a big pile of sticks again. I wonder if I can get the wall ready. My usual self, that you've seen countless times now, wants to... What? Wants to finish the episode once the wall is done, which could be perfectly aligned with the 45 minutes again, but I'm kind of in a rush today. I can't... What is up with my voice? I can't. I should drink after this. My voice really doesn't work that well. I don't know why. Sounds a little bit funny. I have to look over this part later again. Does it sound as funny as in my head when I'm doing funny voices? Only time will tell. Oh, I feared. Did we begin in the wrong corner? Didn't we do the same mistake over there? It's more clever to push this over, right? None of you stopped me. Just for context, no one stopped me. You all saw this previous episode. I didn't see a single comment saying start in the middle. So we all have to go through this now. Shouldn't take too long though. The first one might be the hardest to place down. And every subsequent one should be pretty easy actually. I mean, I understand that snapping point. That's on me. Will be easier once I have my other hand free. Oh right, I still have the light with me. Nope. Yep. Okay, let's turn this off. Wonderful. Okay, shouldn't take too long. Do we have the time? Yeah, we have the time. It's so much easier to move the outside of this thing, so we're gonna start from here as well. From the middle position on the other side. Oops. Hello? Okay, I should really take care of the friction down there. For some reason it grabbed the one next to it. So... wasn't there a second, well, not drama, but interesting thing I wanted to mention today? If I wanted, I forgot about it. But I can always mention it the next time. So much going on right now, and I don't have time for anything. Like, for example, for the whole Unity thing, I would have looked into it more for you guys. Or with Primitier, I would try to finally find some time to record some episodes in a bunch, so that it's a little bit less stress for me, and you have the persistent upload schedule that you deserve. But do you think I have time for anything? The problem is me. Don't get me wrong, I can't point my finger to anything else, because I am currently well, it's a little bit of real life as well, but it's mostly me, because once I have free time, I have to take care of the streaming stuff as well, like uploading to a quote-unquote dead channel, or one that is not as appreciated as this one, with the VODs being uploaded, which I understand. That one is more of a diary than talking to you about Unity. I just want to look back on streams, and especially later on when I... how do you say that? When I fine-tune my craft? When I get a little bit better in everything, like, oh, look at this, this is how I started, this is my very first model, oh my god, back then my microphone quality was so mid, and things like that. Oh, I didn't have the fancy animation that time. All of that cannot change overnight. I am very well aware of that. It's like the changes on this channel. I guess most of you just came in for and because of Primitier, so you might not know what was before or what came after. But with how it's going right now, my routine with the thumbnails, with recording itself and all, I had to figure a lot of things out. It's much more different when you actually upload the things you create. Like, I'm still struggling with one or two details on the whole thing, which I have to learn. But simple learning by doing doesn't help too much, so sooner or later I will have to go into a strategy on how I want to deal with all of that. I think it's okay to push it to the side a little bit here. Nope. Nope. Yep. Is this too much, I wonder? Whoops. It's not really on top, but if you don't tell anyone, it actually looks quite okay. Now, for the second. Or should we complete the other side first? What do you think? Well, can't really ask you right now, can I? Nah, we're not at the end of... If it would have been the end of the episode, I would be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna ask you in the comments. It's not the biggest issue. We will have to complete both anyway. But well... Yeah, something's really not okay with the throat right now. Maybe I should drink more. See, that's a good argument for staying hydrated. If you haven't drank, if you didn't get enough liquid so far, take your sweet time. Either you have a relaxing moment and make yourself a wonderful cup of tea, or you just take a sip of water. Whatever helps the body. Okay, time for the next round. Oh, by the way, with how much I'm using the stairs. Well, it repaired something. Ay, ay, ay. So, I wonder, what I'm thinking about is, once we have a relaxing atmosphere, like a living room, where I can sit at a table and just snack slime sandwiches I made in the kitchen or something like that. We could have non-building, like simple talk episodes, like podcasts, though as cool as that sounds, I kinda like the idea, not gonna lie. But I wanna see some progress in this game. Maybe that's a very, very late game idea when we really did everything, but we have to build a boat, you know? We have to find Niter. We didn't do anything with explosions so far. And if you think that small intricate circuits are already hard to do, well, someone is already going into rocket science. That's not a saying. I am serious when I say that, and I have the highest respect for that guy. Because, whoa. I mean, could be because he has a more functional electricity box, this thing, than I do. so I'm more in awe. But no, seriously now, Flight already was really impressive. With how flimsy the materials are, because you kind of have to use things like straw, I mean dead leaves, and such, which are flammable, and the slightest touch destroys them. And that's a moving object. We already had problems with a static wall out of thin material, and that is wood, which is a little bit stronger than leaves. So imagine having something like that moving. okay, I don't think I can say it like that. I would be scared. Absolutely. And that's controlled flight. I'm talking about planes and helicopters. Oh, one of the guys, who was it? I think it was Kurosaki, who had a really cool helicopter concept. I'm gonna steal that one day. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. I'm not creative enough to come up with it. Well, I'm not completely steal it. Like, I know the basic layout and I won't look into helicopter videos anymore. So that once the day comes around and I try it, I will have the general concept down with ideas borrowed, but we do our own design. That's the strategy. That way I will have clean hands. Right. So it's more like inspiration than theft. Like the artists of you might know, it's more like having a reference picture open on a second monitor than than to trace. Tracing feels bad, but having reference is always, well, not just good, but actually recommended. So, last bunch. We're kind of off on time already, and as much as I would love to do it like I did previously, to just ignore my time limits and continue on, I'm quite serious about that today. Because there's so much I have to prepare for the weekend. So the idea is, can I just jump off the back? You know what? No, we're gonna end it here. Gonna put this down. I wonder if I can place lights on there. I have an idea how. And we will have to use the cutter for that. And I have to build a separate cutter for the really long parts. Because we could run or I could use multiple tiny wires. The problem with multiple tiny wires is that I fear the same old problem, because if you have a smaller piece of some... Okay, let's place this on the downside so I can use it as an example without losing the light. If you try to precisely place something along the line of a surface, the smaller it is, the more it seems to be repulsed. What I mean by that is that there is invisible force that is in between. So you try to lay it on top of each other, but you just lay it on the invisible force, which makes building with small stuff on big scale very difficult. You've seen it, for example, just an episode or two ago, on the handle of the cutter. Like, not the cutting side, but the other side where we push it up and down. Putting the handle on the axis, or the extension of the axis, had this wiggle-woggle effect, which I can explain. I mean, you should have seen enough of it by now to kind of have an idea of how it works. It's not the most beautiful thing to have, but we have to work around that. If I can do multiple small pieces to run around, maybe this way into the wall and connect it there to the circuit, we can have lights out here. And that would be sweet. That way, it would work like with a lamp here, and it would illuminate the whole area. Not just that, if I leave it on and just go about, it might look really cool looking at the house. For some more detail. And we don't have any color to the house right now. I'm gonna plan on having that with green and maybe red from the apple trees, the small ones, and maybe one or two big ones as well, to kind of, you know, give it some atmosphere, give it some depth, and not just a single house in the landscape, but include it into the landscape. Here. There we go. I don't know about you, I think it looks pretty sweet. And I do need a better bench, I tell you that. And I need a way to sit properly. Oh well, what can you do? Well, without further ado, I shouldn't sit down. That's how the problems always start in VR chat, for example. Once you sit down, you just don't want to get up and you just laze around. Well, today a little bit more of a talking episode. Next time around we have... could be anything. I don't make promises now. We have to... The one thing is we have to continue the wall in the back, and we still have one window and at least 2 doors to go. Plenty to do, so let's see where we pick off next time. I see you around there. Bye bye.